All right, guys, Tech Tip Tuesday again. Today we're going to talk about cutting the cord. Common question we're getting right now. Even on $200,000 installs, people are coming to us saying, hey, I'm paying $250 a month to DirecTV or Dish or cable. I'm just done. I want to cut the cord, I want to stream everything, and that's how I want it to go. It's a great idea, and the concept of it is really good, but there's a couple details that are really important that you got to keep in mind if you're thinking of cutting the cord, okay? Couple things are, one, what are you going to do for live content? This is getting better. We're seeing more and more content starting to be streamed live directly to TVs, but still, it's just not the same. You're not going to get the level of news, you're not going to get the level of international commentary. A lot of that type of content still isn't available near to the level as it is with live TV, okay? The other thing is, a lot of content that's not necessarily live, but playing tonight. So let's say you have a favorite sitcom or a favorite drama that's on Thursday nights. A lot of times that content won't be available for either a day, a month, or maybe sometimes it's even 6 months before that content that was broadcast out through DirecTV, Dish, and your cable provider becomes available through streaming. So just keep that in mind. If there's a favorite show you watch, make sure and do some research first before you cut the cord. Make sure that that content that you're really interested in, that you're not going to have to wait a year to see it, which I know sounds crazy, but that's the way some providers do it. They wait until that whole season is over. When the season's over, then they post it online, okay? That's something to keep in mind. The other are your local channels. If you're cutting the cord, you're going to lose all those local channels. There is a caveat on that though. If you want to keep them, you need to add an antenna. So make sure you're in an area, you live in an area where you have clear access to those broadcast antennas. If you live in Boise, works great, easy. If you live in Seattle, not so much. Trees, neighborhoods, hills, that all gets in the way of it. So that's another thing you want to keep in mind as you're making that decision. The last thing I would think about, that third thing of cutting the cord, is what are you going to do for a DVR? Because obviously when you have service, you're getting that recording function built into your DirecTV, Dish, or cable DVR. If you cut the cord, you lose that functionality. There are a lot of new platforms coming out. Even TiVo has a box that is designed just for over-the-air and streaming content integrated into one box, cost a couple $100. Great functionality there. The thing to keep in mind though, that's where the content is stored, and then also that's where the guide comes from. Because that's the other thing, when we're looking at that DVR function, do we have a guide? So if we want to record a show that's on Thursdays at 8 p.m. and it suddenly moves to 8:30, you want that guide to automatically shift. So just something to keep in mind there on cutting the cord, that what are you going to do about that DVR and menu function, okay? That's the extent of cutting the cord. You want to comment on it? We'd love to start a conversation with you right down here. Yeah, it's an exciting time, guys, and a lot of neat stuff coming up here. So let's see what we can do to talk about it. Have yourself a great Tuesday.